Puppy! Puppies!
Change. It can be overwhelming. From the arrival of a new puppy to nurturing it into a healthy dog. As a health and longevity expert, I know that when we try to make big changes to improve our health and wellness, we often fail. But it's the small steps that we can take that make all the difference. Recent research gives us a much better idea of what we should be doing if we want our dogs to live longer and if we want to live longer ourselves. Part of the purpose of this series is to true our aim a little bit better. Throughout this journey with Tom and the Get Joy team, I've gained a great deal of insight and perspective in regards to some of the challenges, as well as all of the joys that pet parents face in the pursuit of that. And I've learned some of the ways in which small daily steps can have a huge impact on the health and well-being of our dogs. Today, I'm meeting up with Mary Page, a new dog parent, to learn more about the ways she and her pup have settled in together.
Hey, Mary.
Hey!
Yeah, nice to see you. I see you're
too.
not alone.
I know, this is my baby.
Oh, what's your name?
This is Newt.
Is this a new addition to your family?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
in last year. I did not want a puppy. I didn't know what a Bernedoodle was. The head said no, but my gut said yes. And so I just tried it.
Have you had dogs before?
I grew up with them. We just went to the SPCA, and got whatever. But my dad mostly took care of them. So this is my first just me solo dog. But it's
There
been
it is,
amazing, but it
yeah.
was very challenging.
To help Mary Page and other dog parents keep their dogs healthy, Get Joy and I have been working together to develop the 10 keys to dog longevity. We like to make it easy for people, something easy to remember, but also a takeaway. And with Blue Zones and human longevity, I have this Power 9. We're gonna go one better for dogs. And the first one is this idea of balanced bowls.
What should dogs eat? Well, you look at their teeth, they have the sharp teeth to cut the meat, but they also have molars, which means they're meant to eat plant material and vegetables and so forth to crush and grind. So proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and then the other F, fiber. Once they make it into the GI tract, the digestion process is, quite honestly, nearly identical
Is
to a
that
human.
right? What we can both agree on is the need for a diversity of these 4 basic nutrients, so to speak.
100%. I have a little acronym, Perfect Canine Food Formula.
I love it.
PCFF. So there's protein, carbohydrates, fat, and fiber. Fiber, fiber, fiber.
I recently wrote a story for National Geographic on the diets of longevity, and I was shocked to learn that all the greatest experts now are talking about fiber. That's because it addresses our gut. The name of the game with the gut is bacterial diversity. You want to give your dog a diet that has several components in it so that bacteria in the gut can flourish. It fine-tunes your immune systems, so paying attention to the gut is so important.
Great food, in my mind, is our fresh, wholesome ingredients. Healthy, lean proteins, really healthy, high-fiber vegetables like a broccoli, a cauliflower, carrots. And those 3, by the way, are in our recipes. We want to make sure that we can help anybody out there today just get started. If it's a budgetary reason, there's still ways to put these wholesome, great, powerful ingredients in the meal so that routine can evolve.
The next one is Scoop Smart, which is about portion control. What should people know in order to feed their dogs the right amount?
The amount your dog needs is going to vary dramatically from when they're a puppy to adulthood to being a senior, also based on their activity level. There are breed variations as well. They have caloric requirements, and it's not just the total calories, it's the types of treats you're giving them. They should never make up more than 10% of the total caloric intake. So it's going to take a little bit of research on the owner's part. They can use their general practitioner veterinarian as a wonderful resource to discuss quantity.
The vet checkups are when you get a reality check. You're like, you gained how much weight? Like, and they're active dogs, so you always think, oh, it's fine, they can eat whatever.
I used to just take his bowl and dip it in the food and give it to him.
Now we
And
measure.
I didn't realize I was giving him like 2.5 cups per meal instead of 1 or 1.5. So portion control is big time, and we definitely pay more attention to that now.
If a dog is supposed to get a couple of cups and it doesn't look like there's 2 cups in the bowl, it's pretty common for someone to put more in the bowl. So the dog has more to eat. When people aren't focused on portion control, a dog is eating more than he or she should and is not getting their exercise, and that's how dogs get heavier. It's really simple.
The third longevity key is simple, real ingredients. So when reading a label, what are the 4 things I should avoid when buying dog food for my dog?
If you can't pronounce it, it's probably a preservative. If the protein source is a meat byproduct, that's suboptimal. Artificial preservatives, rendered fats, try and avoid those at all costs.
And how about dyes?
They try to make it enticing for the consumer when they're walking down the dog food aisle, you know, and see these nice reds or mix of reds and browns and different shapes that look like bones. But those dyes are all artificial, and they're not a part of their daily diet. I think of it this way: what do we do with our pets every day? We feed them. So that simple act, choosing a fresh diet, it's the most simple thing we do, it's going to have the biggest impact on their life.
Fresh ingredients are important, and you see it in all the blue zones. People are largely eating fresh. In America, the standard American diet, which is so full of artificial ingredients, added sugars, and sometimes outright toxins, Americans are losing about 10 extra years of life expectancy.
Staying away from processed foods. So foods that are modified or foods that are really not meant to be consumed, and there's so many of them, the more people and we as a family stayed away from them, we just feel better. And the same premise exists with our dogs and all of our customers out there, is that they're eating healthy, fresh, wholesome ingredients that are really, really good.
What do you feed her?
I am a kibble girl. My family always fed kibble to our dogs. I never knew there was another option until now. I guess there's so many options. I tried a freeze-dried food, which is more financially sustainable for me. I do like kibble on the bottom, and I do a freeze-dried, more fresh food on top.
Sounds like the right direction. All right, so number 4, we have Paws in motion.
Dogs should be in motion. Exercise is great, keeps obesity levels down, but it also provides mental stimulation. So it doesn't matter what they're doing as long as they're moving, and 30 minutes to 2 hours a day is key.
While we are a nutrition design company, part of the wellness journey is movement, just like you and I. So the same is true with dogs. I have a golden retriever and a mini long-haired dachshund. Their movement requirements are really different. So the behaviors of movement, they vary by breed. And I think it's really important for a pet parent to understand that. Nobody's gonna get it right. Nobody's perfect.
What you guys are seeing, I think, is the bigger sort of ecosystem that a dog inhabits that can drive its longevity. I think you're learning, as I've found with humans, that at the end of the day, a dog's longevity is the product of this interplay between a cluster of factors. Longevity key number 5, part of the family. And I'll tell you, for humans, this is indisputable. In all the blue zones, we see people living in extended families. Keeping your aging parent nearby conveys somewhere between 4 and 6 extra years of life expectancy. It's good for the children.
It's very healthy to consider them part of the family. And I would say a majority of pet owners do consider their dog part of the family. They bond with them in similar ways that they bond with their children.
And dogs actually mirror the emotions of their humans, right?
A dog that's part of a chaotic, high-stress, anxiety-riddled environment will become high-stress and anxious themselves.
So we want to create a home for our dogs where it's calm, where it's loving, where it's kind, and where they're treated like real members of the family.
They just love being around you. They're pack animals, and you are their pack.
Beautiful. I could just instantly feel the connection you two have and how she's probably kind of completes the family.
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of the big reasons I got her actually, is that for the first time in my life I was living alone and I felt like I wanted a little spirit with me.
Yeah. In what ways is a dog companion better and worse than a human partner?
Oh, they're so much better. They don't talk back to you. They don't really have opinions.
I love
Especially about how you decorate your apartment.
Yeah, do anything you want.
You
Yeah.
can do anything you want.
Just all listen.
No, you know what? They always are happy to see you.
Yeah.
They are
Isn't that
always,
wonderful?
Oh my gosh, yes. And she's
Well-
hilarious. Like, she's a Muppet. We
Well,
laugh
well-
a lot.
So the sixth longevity key, and this one is incredible because it just seems so simple, is be social.
Socialization is 5 times more impactful on their
Wow.
longevity than other factors. Early and often is the key. So when they're puppies, you need to introduce them to other puppies, even other adult dogs. They'll learn their place in any given temporary pack that they encounter. There's a hierarchy, and they need to learn their way through that.
Like with humans, exercise and socialization is important for dogs.
We as humans spend so much time, money, energy investing in our own health, wellness, socialization, all of those things. And then it's nice that we can do that for our dogs as well. I also think that whether socializing your dog and letting them go out on hikes gives them a longer lifespan, it's hard to say yes or no to that, but it does give them a better quality of life, and I think that's so important, just like anything else in life.
What are you finding about dog socialization?
I mean, it's critical. The parallels to human wellness are near identical. And just in the few years that the company has been around, the importance of socializing your dog, both with other dogs and in other environments, is really critical to their mental health.
Number 7, longevity key, snooze soundly. I love the alliteration here. Now, of course, with humans, we're learning how important sleep is. It's arguably the most important thing we get enough of every day.
So dogs are different than people. Overnight, they'll spend about 10% of their time in REM sleep, whereas people are about 25%. They have to make up that sleep during the day. I have clients ask me, is my dog lazy? Is he sleeping too much during the day? The answer is an emphatic no, because it's mandatory for them to sleep.
One thing I know for humans is that the environment makes all the difference. If you're in a room with bright lights, electronics, beeping, sounds, it's not the right temperature, you're not gonna sleep well. I'm guessing we should be paying attention to the sleeping environment for our dogs as well.
Absolutely. After 9 p.m., I take away my dog's iPhones, and they're not allowed to have them. No, but in all seriousness, like you said, if you have the TV on and the lights are on and there's light shining in from outside, you know how it impacts you. It's doing the same to your dog, and they can't get that rest that they need.
So the 8th longevity key, stimulate and motivate. How do we give dogs sense of purpose, and how do we keep their brain stimulated?
Dogs, they come from being work animals, so they need a sense of purpose in their life. Now, we find our sense of purpose more often than not outside of the home, whether it's work or what have you. Dogs cannot leave the home on their own. It's incumbent on us to provide things while we're gone. There are puzzles or toys where they can play with on their own while we're gone. But when we're home, we really need to get them engaged and stimulated. Just like exercise is such an important part, mental stimulation is a very important part to longevity as well.
So getting them out to a dog park where they can interact with other dogs, you're not only helping them physically, you're not only helping them socially, but you're helping them cognitively. Physical activity is far more cognitively stimulating than we realize. We use over 100 different muscles just when we walk. And a lot of it's happening unconsciously, but if you're having a conversation at the same time, your brain is actually getting a really good cognitive workout. Same thing for dogs. Humans have about 6 million smelling sensors, and dogs have 300 million.
300 million.
And I was reading about these sniffaries. Tell us how important it is to allow dogs to follow their olfactory urges.
So they get so much joy by seeing what's out in the environment. And the way they do that is by sniffing. So you may want to hurry the walk along and pull them away from trees and so forth. Let them sniff the trees, let them sniff the bushes. This is how they
Get the news.
Exactly. Did the Giants win last night? It's just such an important part. And also be creative. Take a different route when you walk, because it sounds simple, but there are going to be different dogs on that route, therefore leaving different scents.
All right, the 9th longevity key, safe environment. And this is, you're getting at my sweet spot when it comes to Blue Zone, because I believe most of longevity is the environment we live in.
Well, now you're in my sweet spot as an emergency doctor, because I see the untoward effects of an unsafe environment every day.
A parent with a toddler would be hyper aware of making sure that their child is not exposed to dangerous products, and locking the door under the sink, for example. We want to think through the prism of a dog's life. You want to make sure you don't end up in your office other than to say hello.
I use that line all the time. No offense, I hope I never see you again.
You're learning how to raise a dog really kind of for the first time on your own, but when you think of Gwen's living environment, I mean, it's optimized for you, but what do you think about to optimize it for her?
Yeah, that is a good question, and that was another concern of mine when I first got her. I kind of had to puppy-proof it a little bit, and you know, the things that are toxic, grapes and chocolate, and just to make sure I'm not eating those things and that she can't get those things.
The environment they live in, we often overlook that. Does your home have a cozy place for your dog to sleep? Is it free of toxins? Does your dog have adequate shelter?
I think smarter uses of cleaning products, and like, God forbid, we don't need the greenest lawns. So our dogs have the chance to actually live their healthiest life.
Number 10, preventing is important. And this is a message we somehow miss largely when it comes to human. You know, of the $4.4 trillion we spend on healthcare, less than 4% of it is spent on keeping people healthy in the first place.
Think of what we do on a daily basis that keeps us healthy. You can do some of those same things for your dog. A big one that people miss is dental care. Bad breath is one, probably the most benign, but as those bacteria build up along the gum line and the tartar disrupts that normal barrier, you can have bacteria get into the bloodstream, and it can infect the liver and the kidneys, and even in really serious cases, the heart valves. So we can avoid that just by doing something simple every day. They do make dog-specific toothpaste, but again, you can do simple things like carrots or crunchy cauliflower as a treat. Things like that will just increase their quality of life. So preventative measures for your dog will increase their longevity, because your veterinarian, through routine visits, will be able to pick up on minor changes that you may not notice at home.
A healthy dog is a high trigger into a really healthy family. So people are happier, there's more energy, you're doing more things. I think you're just more conscious about taking care of each other. The relationships we have, it's not a wonder why they're so powerful and so connected.
Do you think you're gonna live to age 90 or more?
Oh, 102.
By the way, the biggest predictor of how long you're gonna live is how long you think you're gonna live. Any doctor can tell you, any genetic, one of these biological aging things. If I had to guess, Newt's gonna live to the maximum of her life expectancy too, if you have anything to say about it.
I hope so. I know, baby.
Over the course of this series, I met so many pet parents and, of course, their dogs. And the need for this deeper dive into dog longevity has become more apparent than ever. The love and the bonds I've witnessed are inspiring, and the key driver in Get Joy's mission is to help our canine companions. At their core, the 10 keys to dog longevity are each quite simple, but when implemented together and on a regular basis, the results are powerful. I look forward to seeing the ways in which these keys and their lessons will help change the lives of dogs and their families for generations to come.